That's a good question. Actually, it was some time ago. I mean, the company Green Heart was actually founded in 2020. But the idea of Green Heart came to me, I think it was like 10 or 15 years earlier. My mother was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I got to think about, first of all, concerning me, because it can be sort of that you inherit it. It was not like that. She's fine today, thank you God. But I was thinking and understanding the connection between deodorants and things you put on yourself and your skin, eat, all these things really started to, catch my attention. Also, my children were a bit smaller, and I wanted to, find better materials or products for myself, and I found it difficult because it was just a big jungle, and I didn't know what to trust and not. And I was thinking, so why didn't anyone create a platform and do this due diligence for me, like organic products, good brands? And then, my last employment was in fintech actually, and the whole marketing team was sort of let go, including me. I was the marketing director, and then I thought, okay, now I'm doing it. Now I'm creating this platform that was in my heart for some time, a place where someone did the due diligence, meaning us then. And only carrying really amazing brands and products, basically. It's hard to run your own business, but I really saw, first of all, like a hole in the market. Now, fast forward from those first initial thoughts that I had to like 2020, 21, really a big demand for a platform, not only from a sort of consumer perspective that you really want to engage with good products and responsible brands, but also from a brand perspective where there were a lot of innovative and great brands, but they had a hard time reaching that type of conscious consumers. So there was really no place for them to meet, basically, which felt really curated and inspirational. So I felt like, okay, now we're creating Green Little Heart. And the name has also a funny story, or a nice story, that, in each person's heart, there's room for a green heart to grow. So like step by step, working with, carrots, inspiration, rather than, telling people what they're doing wrong. You can tell people what they're doing right and sort of encourage to make that bigger. Yes, I think the first thing is to test, and test small. I mean, it doesn't have to be a major thing. I think there are small, changes we can make to our everyday life, and suddenly you sort of feel yourself becoming an active person who's actually part of trying to create a solution, rather than being a passive persona watching the world go to hell, basically. So it's nice to step into action mood. When you do that, good things happen, and you sort of expand in those emotions. And I think what I say to people is like, okay, test the bamboo toothbrush. That's a good thing. Test the shampoo cake. I mean, we do, and you also get a lot of, slaps on your hand when you talk about sustainability, because it's a relative term, and we all leave footprint behind. We eat, we consume, we wear clothes, we wash our hair, we brush our teeth. Yes, but we can do it in a more sustainable way than, which is sort of the norm. And that is to sort of change a little bit here and there, and you become a more sustainable and more action-oriented individual. Can be changed into, a shampoo cake. Next time you need to buy some clothes, think secondhand, think purpose-driven, think female-founded businesses that you support them, think, made to order, what is, new and innovative that actually supports a greater good. Because we all have to take responsibility. But it's also nice to take responsibility. Real mission is really to make like a sustainable lifestyle the norm, as opposed to not. I was just talking to another brand that was here earlier, like not much has changed still. I mean, walking through a mall, any mall here in Stockholm, it looks very much the same as it's done in the last couple of 20, 30 years. It's still a lot of textiles, a lot of products. I mean, we can change the narrative around. And I think that's the vision with Green Little Heart. We need to transition from like linear, big quantity type of production to much more circular, use what we have, work with what we have, but in the same time we can make like prosperous businesses thriving. And I think Green Little Hearts is a great example of that. We have 150 type of brands like that are already connected to the platform. So the vision is to make that the norm as opposed to not. Great question. Well, the depressing reason is that 0.7% of the invested capital into tech companies goes to women, as opposed to 99.3% going to males. Not that I deprive them of investment capital, just extremely sad and tragic that not more goes into female-founded business, because there are like really amazing businesses actually, and it's a big problem, a big systematic problem, not just for the individual behind that situation, but also for society as a whole, that we don't encourage women to start their own businesses, because of course who would be encouraged when those depressive numbers is what you are faced with. So I really want to show this amazing female-led companies that we have, not just on Green Little Heart but around in the world, and to understand that a purpose-driven business can be a very, very prosperous business. And we also know research and facts that diversified teams really make more prosperous business, and diversified teams can start with at least a gender approach, and then moving forward from that, like age, culture, heritage, perspectives. That drives prosperous business, and we are very, very far from that. I was just recently in a gala, fantastic gala, arranged by Women in Business Network, Carolina running that show. During that gala, a research project was presented, proving a little bit as to why it is like this with a funding perspective. This is a narrative, this is a situation that I've been facing a lot, not just me, I mean my co-founders as well. Like when women are in discussions with investors, which type of questions do they get? Yes, they get prevention questions, as in, focused on the risks. Whereas males get promotion questions, like focus on the opportunity. It's not that women and men answer very differently to the type of questions they're asked. They're just getting asked very, very different type of questions. And of course, the discussions become very differently if you're just focused on the risk, or if you're focused on the opportunity connected to the idea that you're presenting. So that's a challenge that I have felt many, many times, and also me and my co-founders, and I know a lot of the other entrepreneurs on the platform. So that's a concrete challenge. But then I also think another challenge is that since you are exposed to this type of situation, you can also feel very alone in this, that you look around and you read all these stories in press, like tech press, like of all the funding going to certain type of startups, and you just feel very sad. It's a tragic situation, but when you are in these networks with other women, you realize you're not at all alone in feeling this. This is a feeling that a lot of us have had. So that's a challenge, to feel alone sometimes, but I also know that's not the case, but we're only humans and we have emotions. To sit here today and listen to the other stories of these women, fantastic female entrepreneurs. Green Little Heart gets to sort of bind all of this together under one roof, one type of platform, and you can find all of them under this sort of umbrella. And it's amazing to actually build that, to go from having this idea in your head and now actually seeing it live, and it's out and about. We have 150 brands connected to the platform. Actually 80% of them are female founded. Not that we necessarily just source female founded businesses, it's not like that, but many times purpose-driven businesses, which is what we're looking for, are actually run by women. A dream in my heart and head to seeing it actually happening. And now we have signed this huge thing with a contract with our first physical impact node that we're going to build. Building, the best of the tech digital world into a physical shape and form. So that's going to be super cool. So actually going from ideas to concrete actions, that gives you a lot of, energy. Yeah, I think you should talk to other people, like talk to friends around you, talk to I mean, companies that you probably follow and look up to, reach out to them. Most of the times they are very eager to help and support. And if you're like a woman, there's a lot of great women's network that really provide a lot of knowledge and encouragement. And yeah, knowledge, you can need that, and network is good. So like, ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for support, basically. Research is a good advice. And listen to your heart, follow your heart. This is a good one, because I think many times when you do sit in those funding rounds, they try to sort of twist your head a little bit, and maybe you should, really just focus on this type of business instead of the one that you thought from the beginning. And they all have their reasons for saying that. So be true to your core, and don't forget why you wanted to start this from the beginning. Mm-hmm. Remember that every day you wake up. Yeah, that's why I'm waking up today. I mean, it's been hard. I'm not going to lie about that. But I always sort of, those times when I feel like, oh my God, are we really doing something good here? Then I sort of go out and I look around in the world and I see, yes, this company is really, really needed for so many reasons. So I raise my eyes and I look around, then I remember and I go back to, the original thought. Yes, that's why we're doing it. We're lifting great innovations on the platform. We're making them accessible for like other, for consumers who can transition into conscious consumers. And by doing so, we can really, really change the narrative for many people and become, a more holistic race. I think we really have to be more conscious in our own part of being a part of a solution than thinking like, oh, someone else is going to fix it. You have to realize that someone else is you. There is no someone else who's going to fix it. You have to be part of that. And that's, I revert to that when I feel down or saddened by, certain situations. I come back to the fact that, no, I have to contribute, and this is my part of contribution. Good question. I think do research first. I mean, is your product needed? Is the idea needed? I mean, really focus on your business. Trust your core as opposed to, other trying to tell you maybe you should just focus on B2B, which all investors say. But, okay, so what about the consumers? They're going to be left with nothing or no new opportunities. So I think do research, network, and listen to your heart and brain. They're probably most likely very right. Yes, so we support, we're lifting them, I mean having them on the platform, making their products and brands exposed to conscious consumers so we can really grow, so we become like an accelerator for their type of business. Because it's a sad truth that a lot of sustainable businesses close because they don't reach scale, they don't reach enough traction to survive, and this is just heartbreaking. Great products, great brand, but they don't really reach enough consumers. So that's our work, and that's what we do, because algorithms can be fantastic, but they can also be very, very hard. And when it comes to like social, paid socials and stuff, it's really hard to be like a single stand-alone brand and reach enough growth and traction. But as a community, really, really, we are stronger. And that's sort of the whole purpose of Brindle Heart, to grow this as a community. Vote with your wallet. This is something really, really important. It wasn't I who said that. It was Sila, another entrepreneur on the platform. But use, the power that you have as a consumer, not just by buying things, but, advocate, a more sustainable lifestyle. Think about your own little, contribution. It matters. It really, really matters. We need a lot more people doing small little steps towards a more sustainable lifestyles than a very few individual being perfect. That's not going to help, the world as a whole. So don't be afraid of trying out. Test. Be part of the solution. And don't be passive. be the solution. You want to see now.
What are your top 3 products on Green Little Heart right now?
Oh God, that's a good question.
Like products that you use every
I must
day.
say, yeah, exactly. I mean, I do use going back to the deodorants. I use the deodorants, and I sort of change because I like to change. But we have amazing deodorants on the platform. That's something I constantly use and constantly buy. And also like hair products. You see, my hair is a bit, I have very dry skin, very dry hair, so. I have to have a certain type of products, and that I also find on Green Little Heart. And oils, I mean oils in abundance. I love oils since I have such dry skin, and I really like the natural part of that, as opposed to a lot of chemicals that you can put on your skin and things like it's not good. You choose natural. And then of course all the fashion. I come from the fashion industry. This is sort of my legacy. I love this new way of made to order, made to measure, the designed and combined with the purpose-driven approach. That's really really nice. And you wear your items and you feel something. It's not just something that you quickly bought from something that didn't matter to you. So that I like.